Doctor Who. The Tea Party. Felicity Meana sat down at the round table in the garden. She sipped a small cup of tea slowly. English breakfast? Tisk! The Japanese woman scoffed as she drank it. But she didn't really have much of a choice. Her host, a Mary Poppins-looking woman with a Scottish accent, was staring her down and watching her intensely. The host smirked as she did, and also drank a small cup of tea. Between them was a medium-sized cake stand with cupcakes on it. Around it were tea party food, including cucumber sandwiches on their small plates, cutlery and napkins around them. The perfect tea party, or so it appeared. The host placed her teacup on its saucer. "Thank you for joining me," she said. "I didn't really have much choice," Felicity said. "Your invitation was quite forward." The invitation in question was more of a threatening demand. "Join me at my annual tea party, or your beloved doctor died. Muhahaha! Here's the address," followed by the address. Felicity arrived at the tea party, pretty much expecting it to be a trap. As she arrived, she noticed her host. As she suspected, it was none other than the Master. To be precise, the Bananas Master, or Missy, as she liked to be called. "Oh, goody," Felicity thought as she went to sit down. Doctor Who, The Tea Party. Written and read by Nick Payne. "So, dearie, how is your dear Dr. Luton, or whatever he's calling himself these days?" Missy asked. "Up to anything naughty?" She winked, awkwardly. That included having an open mouth, looking like she was winking whilst nearly laughing. "That depends on what you mean by naughty," Felicity said, and giggled. "Oh, good times lately then, Missy asked as she drank more of her tea. "You could say that," Felicity said. She drank more of her tea, begrudgingly. She preferred Japanese tea, with more natural tea leaves. Missy hadn't even used tea leaves. She brought tea bags from a supermarket or a local shop. It was fine, but it wasn't exactly glamorous for either of them, despite them being quite classy ladies. Missy didn't care. "It's tea, dear," she had said when they sat down together, and Felicity had scoffed at it. "So long as it's edible, it'll do." Missy was now reading Felicity's reaction. A mixture of fear of her host, suspicion, and "what the hell am I even doing here?" raged across her facial and body language, with attempts to hide it. She did it well, Missy thought, but she could see through her guest's expressions. "Do I scare you, dear?" she asked. Felicity stiffened. "Yes," she said honestly, "and trust me, I don't scare easily." "Oh, and what about frogs and toads and such?" Missy teased. Felicity stiffened more. This was true. She had hated and feared toads and frogs. She had a nasty experience in her childhood when she accidentally got poisoned by a poisonous frog. She was quickly saved, but it gave her a phobia of amphibian creatures, as well as amphibian aliens, even humanoid amphibian aliens, whenever they met any on their travels. "So what if I was?" she asked. Missy smirked. She reached down and pulled up a small but fat green and brown toad and held it up by the table. Felicity screamed and freaked out. She jumped out of her seat and back a bit. Missy laughed and put the toads down. Then she squeezed some hand gel on her hand and rubbed it into her hands. "Forgive me, dear. A little practical joke, I promise. Nothing harmful," Missy said, then laughed. Felicity cautiously sat back down. "So, besides my little joke, have you been enjoying my little tea party?" Missy asked. Felicity scoffed. "It was okay," she said. Missy frowned at this. "Oh dear," she said. She then snapped her fingers. All of a sudden, a pair of big, burly, toad-like men stood behind Felicity. Upon hearing them arrive, Felicity stiffened. Her eyes widened in fear. She slowly but cautiously turned her head to look round. She saw the two toad-like men. She screamed loudly with extreme fear. Her panic kicked in as she tried to run, but one of the Toad men grabbed her and restrained her. The other reached round to rip off her clothes. All the while, Missy laughed villainously. "Oh, what entertainment!" she said. "When you get threatening invitations to mysterious tea parties, make sure you take precautions," the doctor had told her after she had told him about her invite. Felicity had listened to him. She was prepared for anything, even for Amphibia. But who could have predicted Missy, of all people, using toad-like aliens as henchpeople? She had heard of a villainous alien, toad-like man, capitalist criminal called Josiah W. Dogbolter, but she never expected any of them to turn up. As one held her and the other reached for her clothes, she took a deep breath. She hadn't prepared for them being here, but she had been prepared for a situation like this. Instinctively, she kicked her captor in his balls. The toad let out a loud howl as he let go of her and held his kicked balls. The other one missed ripping off her dress as he fell on top of his partner. "Tisk! Never send a toad to do a time lady's job," Missy said, disgusted. She then stepped up and headed over towards Felicity. She then held out a small tablet device and aimed it up at Felicity. "Say something nice," Missy said as she held up her device. "No, I don't think I will," Felicity said flirtatiously. "Say something nice," Missy said, noticeably annoyed. "No," Felicity said bluntly. "Say something nice," Missy yelled crossly. "No," Felicity shouted back. "Miss Felicity Meana, I am not going to kill you until you say something nice," Missy said firmly. Felicity laughed. "Well then, I'm not going to say anything nice. Then, will I?" she said. "In fact, I'll say unkind things to you instead, you evil witch." Missy roared at this and started firing at Felicity. Felicity dodged the lasers coming out of the device. "I thought you said you weren't going to try and kill me until I said something nice," she said as she dodged the lasers. "Yes, well, I got bored," Missy said, still trying to shoot her. As Felicity ran round the table, she ducked as lasers shot up the table, knocking the cake stand over. All the cakes fell down onto the ground. "Oh, I spent hours baking those cakes, you little minx," Missy said crossly as she kept firing. Felicity looked over the table. She had a gun and considered using it on Missy, but she knew bullets wouldn't stop her. Not long term, anyway. She needed to be more clever. She then saw a teapot for the tea party. She grabbed it and carried it as she dodged the laser fire and over towards the awakening toad creatures. As they stood up, she used the height of the toad-like men to hide herself from Missy for a bit. "Oh, get out of the way, you incompetent oafs!" Missy yelled at the toad men. When they didn't, she shot them. "Oops," Missy said unapologetically, but this gave Felicity the chance to run round and hit her on the head with the teapot. The teapot smashed into several pieces as it impacted on Missy's head. "Oh, that teapot was from the Mink Dynasty, you foolish girl!" Missy said as she then fell to the ground, unconscious. Felicity, needing a moment to compose herself, sat back down at the shot-up table. She took a moment to take a sip of her tea. She was used to the taste of English breakfast tea now, but it was cold, so she didn't finish it. "So when you said threatening letter and mysterious tea parties, I didn't expect this," the doctor said as he observed the remains of Felicity's battle with Missy. Felicity had put a call into him and the space agency to arrive. The space agency to take Missy into custody, and the doctor to pick her up. Fortunately for her, he had arrived first, and Missy had not awoken yet. But she was now snoring and speaking in her sleep. Bananas," Missy said while sleeping. "She keeps saying that," Felicity said. "I guess she really likes bananas." Felicity left a letter with Missy, which basically served as the evil Time Lady's confessions to her crimes. Felicity got up and walked over to the doctor and gave him a little kiss. "Darling, next time we have a tea party, can we go somewhere where there isn't big amphibian creatures around?" she asked. "I know the perfect place," the doctor said, walking her back to the TARDIS. "How would you like to go and meet Lewis Carroll?" As the pair got into the TARDIS, Inspector Zennegarten of the Space Agency arrived. He discovered the mess, the unconscious Missy, and the confession letter. As Missy stirred, she found herself waking up in handcuffs, her arms restrained behind her back. She looked up at a smirking Zennegarten looking down at her, and he read out her rights. "Oh, bananas!" Missy could only say to this. Zennegarten laughed until he heard the sound of the doctor's TARDIS dematerializing. Wait! Wait! He yelled as he tried to run towards it, but it was no good. It had left. Luton! Zenigardon yelled crossly at the top of his voice and shook both his fists. I'll get you next time, you hear? I'll get you! Oh, give it a rest already, dear, Missy sighed. It's bad enough I have to be arrested by you, but could you at least spare me from your shouting? She sighed crossly. She looked at the remains of her tea party. It was being left in a big mess. Pity. I was having such a blast, she said. The end. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the Nicholas Payne audio YouTube channel.